Have you ever heard about the song "Video Killed the Radio Star"? Yeah, this is a very nice question, I know, but I ask you to follow me for a moment. You need to know that "Video Killed the Radio Star", whose title clearly explains the subject of the song, came out on September 7th, 1979. It was written by the Buggles and released in the album The Age of Plastic. You also need to know that the video of the song was officially released in 1981 to inaugurate the broadcasts of MTV America that, starting from that time, definitely, we would say, changed our relation with music, that became like music to see. And by chance, the song has been somehow prophetic because it is exactly about how radio began to lose popularity due to the explosion of the music on TV. So, the TV, in this case, is a problem, but even in ceramics. What do I mean? Have you ever heard, in ceramics, of course, in this case, about the TV screen effect? Well, this is a problem that sometimes arises on the tile surface and that is all about an improper glaze application. So, apart from this weird introduction, here's the question that we are going to answer today. What is the TV screen effect? Why and how does it appear? Let's start. I am Davide Trentini and this is Apparently Invisible, Chemistry in Ceramics. Let's start, as usual, with a very short introduction to frame the subject. As we know, ceramic glazes can be applied on the raw support by using different methods according to technologies and to the results that producers want to achieve. Among all the technologies that we could improperly define as analogical, such as Vela and Vela application system, for example, the airless spray application is today the most common and used. Regardless of the chosen technology, the preparation and application of the glaze, if not properly managed, can promote some defects during production, able to compromise the ceramic material both on a technical and aesthetical level. This means that the problem arises along the production lines, but it can be sometimes visible even after the firing process, and so on the tiles that would be ready to be sold. This is the reason why, already in the grinding process, and for those who are not expert, I just remind that glaze suspensions are developed by grinding frits and raw materials in water. I would say already in the milling process, the use of chemicals able to provide the glaze with rheological stability and the proper features is fundamental. We are saying that during the preparation of semi-finished products, and in this specific case we are talking about glaze suspension, of course, chemicals play a very important role on getting the basics for the following application steps. However, there is a but. You need to know, in fact, that this first chemical addition may sometimes not be enough to avoid all possible defects or problems, because the glaze, in any case, may show imperfection during application. Imperfections that are usually promoted by non-standard parameters of the glaze or by an improper setup of the application machine. What are these imperfections or defects? Among the most popular, we can mention the orange peel effect, and to be honest, I'm not sure if this English translation makes sense, but it's an effect deriving from an improper leveling of the glaze, just to put it simple. We can also mention dusting phenomena promoted by a lack of cohesion within the system, holes and pinholes deriving from an improper drying time or from a chemical incompatibility between the layers that form the ceramic body, such as engobe, glaze, etc. But, and here we come to the subject of today's episode. Among the several problems, the TV screen effect or monitor effect is one of the most strange and, we could say, unique. So, let's see what is it and why it is called, at least in Italy, with this weird name. This defect consists of a sort of migration or movement of the glaze towards the edges of the tile, that turns in a thickening of the glaze itself along the perimeter of the tile. We could ideally imagine the glaze that has been discharged on the raw support moving from the center to the edge, like, for example, clothing in a washing machine that, thanks to the centrifugal force, stick to the drum of the machine. I know this example or likeness is a little bit daring, but I think it helps to give you an idea. Anyway, the final result, the final aesthetical result, in ceramics of course, recalls a cathode-ray tube screen. You remember our old TV? Well, this is it, and this is the reason of the name. But beyond all of this, the problem is that there is not only a thickening of the glaze along the edges of the tile, but it also appears a halo of a different color that remarks the defect. And so, now it's the right moment for a question, the most important question. That is, what are the origin and the reasons of the problem? The problem can be produced by several and different causes, but the most significant is all about surface tension, and more precisely is about the high values of water surface tension. Water that, of course, together with the solid part, forms the glaze suspension. What are we talking about? What is the mechanism? I try to give you an idea by using very simple words. The glaze, since it undergoes to a high, and we could surely say too high surface tension, tends to take spherical shape, moving towards the outer parts of the tile in order to decrease the surface energy. But before keep on going, we will be back later on the spherical shape, I would like to give you a short definition of surface tension, even in this case by using a very simple and I hope not trivial language. Well, surface tension is the tendency of liquid surfaces at rest to shrink into the minimum surface area possible. Let's go, follow me. Speaking about ceramics, thanks to their cohesive force, all glaze particles that are at the interface liquid/air are bound, developing an invisible film. And such force is precisely called surface tension. This is a force that allows a fluid, such as water for example, to remain inside a drop, or that allows objects marked by a density that is higher than water, such as insects for example, to float on a water surface without sinking. Among all liquids, you need to know that water is marked by the highest values of surface tensions, and we are basically talking about an intensive property of liquids that does not depend on the extensions of matter, that is, the mass. But I would like to insist a little bit more on this topic by using a microscope. Try to imagine. A molecule in the liquid is surrounded by similar molecules and it undergoes two balanced attractions that take place in all directions and that therefore nullify the forces that act on that molecule. The molecule basically remains in its place because of these attractions that come from all directions. If instead we look at the molecule that is on the surface of the liquid, we will notice that since the molecule is not totally surrounded by similar molecules, the forces that act on that molecule will develop a downward force leading to a contraction of the liquid. In other words, the molecule is pulled inwards. The second option, that is surely the most effective, is about the decreasing of the glaze surface tension. Here we are, by adding proper wetting agents. The lowering of the surface tension, in fact, is the most important action that stops the movement of the glaze within the system. And sometimes it is recommended the use of partially water-soluble chemicals that act as leveling agents and that are marked by the ability to wet, we could say, the inorganic particles of the glaze by decreasing the water surface tension. This action leads to the deagglomeration of the solid particles, promoting their dispersion within the system, and the decrease of the surface tension makes the water to freely move between the suspended particles, And the deagglomeration, together with the decrease of the surface tension, leads to a perfect leveling action that prevents the formation of the cathode-ray tube on the edges of the tile. And now, going back to the spheric shape, because I didn't forget it and this is the right moment, we can say that the reason of that shape is due to the fact that all the cohesion forces, that is, the electrostatic tensions, find in that specific shape a balance. And if you want to expand the liquid surface, it is necessary to counter the trend towards concentrations by using an important amount of energy. And this energy is exactly the surface tension. That said, I stop here because the topic would require lots of details, and nevertheless I hope to have given you at least a general idea. So I go back to our TV screen problem with another question, the last question we would say. How can we prevent the movement or migration of the glaze, avoiding the TV effect? Well, two are the most important options to better manage the problem. The first consists on increasing the glaze draining times on the tile support by means of proper chemicals. This action is able to stop the migration process of the glaze, forcing the glaze on remaining on its original position. And once again, between wetting agents and deagglomeration phenomena, even today we have come to an end. If you need more info, you can of course contact our labs, and all contacts are available on our website, that is ceramco.it, ceranco.it. As usual, I remind you that you can listen to the previous episodes on the main platform, such as Spotify or Apple Podcasts, or on our app, where you can find a lot of other contents and that you can download for free on Apple Store or Google Play. You just have to type Z&S Ceramco or Apparently Invisible. So, it's time to say goodbye, and with a little bit of regret and a quite big surface tension, as usual, I must say, see you soon.